Welcome to our F3 podcast where we discuss all things pertaining to faith, family, and finance. And remember, no subject is off limits. So we got a good one for you today. We are your hosts. I am Dr. Lionel M. Blair Sr., and I'm sitting next to the sainted mother herself. The sainted mother, Dr. Apostle, my wife, Jasmine Blair.
Where you get sainted mother
You're
from?
the sainted mother, baby. You're the sainted
Lord.
mother. Bless the Lord. Sainted mother.
Depending
We
on
got a
what
good
church
one
we
for
talking
you.
about.
Yeah, because you wouldn't be the sainted mother going in the holiness church.
Not with this lipstick. But
Not
anyway.
with the lipstick or not with your pants either. And I love you in pants. Bless the Lord. So that's my preference. And you want to blame anybody for her wearing pants all the time, blame me. Who gonna check me? Amen.
Listen, thank you for joining us on the F3 podcast. If this is your first time with us, we're glad you're here. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Hit the notification bell and you'll be notified every time we air a new episode. Be sure to check out the show notes in the description for links to some of our other products and services, as well as to send us a message if you have a title suggestion, show topic, question you want us to answer here live. Do not hesitate to let us know, because who knows, your topic may be the topic of the next episode. So we've definitely got a great topic today. If you just take a look down there, we're going there, because I don't know why the church is so afraid to talk about sex. I remember I was having a conversation with somebody several years ago, and they were just like, well, we can't really talk about that in the church. I'm like, well, where do little baby Christians come from? At what point are we going to have this conversation? Because see, if we don't talk about it, the world is already talking about it. Mm-hmm. The world, the education system, everybody's already putting their own spin on it. We can't ignore something that is part of life. Yeah. So the church,
people pop up pregnant all the time, you know.
Exactly. That's not the time to talk about it when you got the person doing the walk of shame. But anyway, so we got to talk about sex and sexual sin in the church. It's no big secret that you still have a lot of believers that are now, okay, I've given my life to the Lord. I'm trying to live right by the Lord. I'm going to church. I'm going to Bible study. I'm volunteering. I'm getting involved. You know, I'm not clubbing no more. I'm not doing this no more. I'm not doing that no more. But I find myself struggling to say sexually pure. This is a conversation that has to be a regular conversation in the church, especially if your congregation is largely full of new believers. See, you notice when you read it in the Bible, where it talks about like qualifications of bishops and elders. And even when we were talking about some of the other ancient documents, one of the reasons why they preferred, it wasn't mandatory like people make it today, but one of the reasons why they preferred an older person for certain offices and responsibilities in the church is because you don't have the temptations of younger men. In other words, somebody that's older, mature, married, seasoned, settled down, you're not going to be struggling with the elementary struggles of the faith like keeping yourself sexually pure.
Unless you're cat daddy.
That's just somebody that is young, you're immature, right, you horny, right, you need to get married, you've never been married, or you're still to a phase in life where you have not developed sexual discipline. That's typically not an older person problem. Right. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't have some old fools and some old babies out there, but typically that's something that gets better with age and maturity.
Especially back then.
It is something that in society, you're typically expected to be trying to grow in that level of personal discipline and control in like your 20s.
Yes.
So that's why they preferred older people. That mean it had to be older people, but you usually don't have older people running around, oh, I just can't keep myself. Are you 75? No. But nonetheless, the church doesn't have this conversation to teach people how to discipline themselves. Right. It's one thing to say, oh, I made it. Okay. But let's get into the details. How did you make it?
Come on.
Because we have to stop talking to people like this is not a real normal thing. It is a normal biological response, and unless something's not working right, it's a normal biological response to be aroused as long as all of your parts are working correctly.
Right.
But the church, for whatever reason, don't want to have this conversation.
Come on.
So I'm gonna kick this over to you to start talking about this. So why, and we've kind of already answered this a little bit, but I want to hear more from you. Why is sexual sin such a big issue in the church?
First of all, the saints are horny. Okay, the saints are horny. I mean, especially prophetic saints are horny. I mean, it's just you offended by the word horny, get over it. Okay, some of y'all cuss and flick folk off and stuff like that when they cut you off on the road. So don't be a hypocrite. All right. Let me get a sip of this coffee. Matter of fact, if your coffee don't look like this, it's an abomination. Your coffee got to be light-skinned. I like light-skinned coffee. But the reason why sexual sin is so prevalent in church because first of all, we demonize sexuality, okay, without properly defining the difference between sexual sin and sexuality. Exactly. That's biological, okay, when it comes to our bodies. Okay, listen, when certain parts of your body, because we were made to do things.
Right.
We were made to have sex. So when that part of your body starts developing, okay, and this is why kids go through puberty, because that part of their body starts developing. So they got to learn it from school what puberty is. Okay, see, we don't tackle this stuff early. We don't tackle the education early. People need to know, okay, like, why is it that when I wake up in the morning, there's a little wet spot? They're learning that from your schools, from their schools, and they're indoctrinating them with other stuff. And people bringing all their junk from home and all that other stuff, and they get tempted and all that stuff. But if they learn it from you,
right,
then they can tell the lies that's in their school. Okay, so yeah, they need to understand why it's a little wet spot, and this is just a phase, and it's not going to last always. Yeah, your body is developing. Your body is coming into maturity. Okay, so that part of you is preparing you for adulthood when you're legal and married.
Not just that, but when you're able to mentally and emotionally have the responsibility to handle that. Because we still got plenty of grown folks that's grown and adults and legal, but they don't have the emotional and mental maturity to handle that.
Because they ain't been raised right either.
I'll get to that later on.
So if you're a pastor, I challenge you to start some kind of sexual education program in your church. Okay, for kids, and there need to be something for some adults.
Yeah.
Okay, because a lot of us don't know how to control our little impulses either. All right, but the church needs to be a leader in sexual education.
That's good.
See, what we're doing is we're bringing their stuff into our space.
Yeah.
When really we need to create our own space for everything.
Right.
For everything, because see, the educational system has an agenda. See, if you look at what they're trying to do in the educational system, then you'll realize the vision they see for the future. When governmental entities and shadow governmental entities have a vision for the future, okay, for whatever motive or for whatever reason, look at the things they're trying to educate our kids with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, first of all, in sexual education, they're passing out condoms. They're encouraging you to
Mm-hmm.
do it. I remember when I took the sex ed class, they had condoms. What you giving a little kid condoms for?
Giving out condoms, doing a whole demonstration with a little banana, show you how to put it on and everything.
You see what I'm saying? You're giving condoms to children like that. That ain't cool. So 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 there's not enough education early on.
Right.
But then let's get to the adults though. Let's get to the adults. Why is sexual sin so? First of all, we don't deal. First of all, we need to understand the difference between a biological response and spiritual activity at work as a result of somebody being violated.
Mm.
Okay, because it's not a sin to get aroused.
Exactly.
It's not. It's not a sin to get aroused. All right. Now, how you handle your arousal will determine whether or not it's a sin. But biological responses and your body working the way that God made it to work, okay, is not a sin. All right. So and see that's for all the people that think it's a sin to, you know, y'all be running around trying to pray your horniness away and it don't go away. Come on now. I've heard people say, you know, when I start getting hot and I pray, baby, I pray.
You pray it away, then you get married and you can't turn it back on.
Uh-oh. Them ones right there. Them ones right there. You was a whole freak in the world, and then you can't even be a freak for your spouse. Shame on you. Anyway, so they gonna talk about me real bad up here. But I don't care. I'm free from all y'all. So but biology is not a sin. Okay. You can't demonize biology. It's how you execute it. All right. But the root of the problem is that people have been touched.
Mm-hmm.
Most people that's sexually promiscuous like that, like you just a whole hoe out here. You know, you just sleeping with everything. Okay, baby, we got to get to the root of your issues.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you was touched, violated something. Okay, most of them have.
Mm-hmm.
Most homosexuals have been touched and violated when they were smaller. And that's really disturbing. It goes to show how rape and molestation, how prevalent it is. You know, some people have been raped or molested, and it's disturbing how prevalent it is because we got a whole bunch of folks out here. You know, they nasty. They sleep with everything and everybody. I'm sorry, I got to call it for what it is, but I'm not shaming you or beating you down. But I have to call it for what it is. You understand what I'm saying? I can't. I'm sorry. I can't sugarcoat this. All right. And see, what I've noticed is some people try to use a religiosity, you know, to mask it.
Yeah, to mask their sexuality.
Yeah,
to mask their arousal, to mask whatever issues. And honestly, that's stupid because it puts you in more bondage. You're literally opening the door to self-deception.
Yeah.
And it deepens whatever issue you're in. And because you've created this religious facade, it's harder and harder for you to come to the light of the truth that you may have a sexual problem. You may have some type of addiction. You may have some type of impulse that you don't want to deal with because now you've created this religious image in front of people for the truth to hit the light, would tear off the mask that you've put on.
Right. You know, and that's so true. You know, and this facade, and for some people, they think the facade is keeping them. The facade
in jail, in bondage.
I've seen people. I mean, have terrible upbringings, unfortunate, sad, when they was either raped or molested or whatever. I've seen plenty of people like this. And they get super religious. They get super religious. And see, here's the thing. If you don't address something, okay, you pretending that it ain't there and talking about I have forgiven. Okay, but let's talk about the psychological damage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk about the spiritual influences that has infiltrated you, because some stuff will lay dormant for years.
That part.
See, one thing I've learned about deliverance is that some things will be dormant, okay, and it will wait for an appointed time. And the next thing you know, that spirit that's working in you
Mm-hmm.
is arranging situations and circumstances for you to fall. And then once you fall, okay, once you fall into sexual sin, okay, it's hard to come out of. Come on now.
Mm-hmm.
That thing will last years before you get delivered. Okay. Why? Because we don't deal with rape and molestation at the root.
And we don't deal with any of it as a root, because some people, it's not rape and molestation. For some people, you have insecurity and rejection issues. For some people, you have acceptance issues.
Excuse me.
You all right?
Oh yeah, I'm good. The coffee just
went down the wrong way.
Went down the wrong way. The light skin coffee. The light skin coffee. But you're right though. But you're right. Some people are insecure and they want to be accepted. We've met people like that too. They are insecure. They want to be accepted. I can remember ministering to somebody before, and I'm just like, okay, like you were, when you were married, you were faithful. But now that you divorced, baby, I can't get you. I can't get you out of a man's bed to save my life.
Sad.
And getting to the root of this child issue, she just wants to be hugged. She just wants to be loved. She just so you're going to lower your standards for some loving.
That's sad.
You're going to lower your standard, and it broke my heart.
Mm-hmm.
It broke my heart. So you're going to lower your standards because you want somebody just to love you and pay attention to you. So now that makes me go back. Okay, what did your daddy do,
right,
or not do?
Right.
And of course, I'm not going to get too much into a background, but parents didn't really care.
Mm-hmm.
Parents let the child do whatever she want to do. You understand? And this is just one example among many that we've encountered over the years. You should not be so insecure that in order for you to be with someone, you have to lower your morals and Christian values.
And that actually brings me to the next point, because this thing starts at home for a lot of people. A lot of people are not taught properly, like you were saying, but somewhere along the lines, many people grow up with this idea that sex is love and love is sex, and the two are not synonymous. It's very possible to have one without the other. And this fulfillment that people are looking for, this void, this acceptance, this connection, a lot of people think, okay, well, if I have sex with this person, now I feel this connection, and you won't. It's important for people to learn how to foster better relationships.
Yes.
In addition to having the conversation in the church,
yes,
about sex, about arousal, about how to keep yourself, how to shift your focus, how to not demonize yourself, acknowledge what's there, but be mature and responsible with the future that God has for you in mind. We got to teach people to foster better relationships, period.
Come on.
A lot of people do not know how to foster good, healthy friendships.
That's right.
They do not. They really do not. We always talk about like that book, 5 Love Languages, for marriage and stuff. And it's a really good book. But they have those books for you as a parent and your children, for friendships if you're single. See, we like to center, and it's not a bad thing, but the church has focused so much on marriage that many people idolize marriage, especially those who are shameful about whatever arousal that they have. They just want to get married and have sex. The church has done a poor job of teaching people how to foster and develop healthy relationships in all forms of their life.
That's true.
I don't think, very rarely have I sat anywhere in some type of Bible study or conference or seminar where we talked about building close ties. You know, we religiousize it. Oh, with your brother and sister. Okay, but if I don't know this person, I'm not going to see them as my brother and sister first. Right. Let's work on their character so they can be viewed as such. People do not know how to foster relationships, and some people will rush to get married, to have a husband, to have a wife, to feel a connection that they needed to help them mature in a friendship.
Uh-oh.
And see, this is also why, you know, I'm not a fan of all this dating stuff, because people, well, but how do you marry somebody and you don't really get to know them? See, the lie that we have, because we're not teaching on sexual education, because we're not teaching on purpose and value, we're not affirming our children at home. We're not teaching them how to build healthy adult friendships and just normal relationships. We're not teaching them how to build healthy platonic relationships. Our idea of relationships as adults for most people is marriage and sex.
Right.
And dating. Listen, if you cannot get to know somebody without putting a dating label on the relationship, without kissing them, without them rubbing your thighs or squeezing your breast, you have poor relationship values.
For real.
And I hate to say it like that, but that's the reality. Some adult in your life, mentor, godparent, whoever, somebody should have gave you a better bag of tools for foundational principles for building relationships. You don't get to know, listen to it said out loud. You're not getting to know a person while they're squeezing your breast. You're not getting to know the core of who a person is while they're rubbing your thighs and kissing your neck. You're getting a feeling out of it. There's a satisfaction in it. And you have conversation along the way. You're going through the motions of lunch or dinner or movies or whatever. So whatever is actually being built is surface level and superficial, because you're not finding out the core of who the person is. So the decisions that you're making are based on the euphoria that you're feeling in these moments. You're not getting to know the type of person somebody is. You don't know what they would do if you were in a hospital on a ventilator machine while they're squeezing your breast. You don't know the type of impact that they're going to have for raising a child while they're rubbing your thighs. No, you're not getting to know a person.
Come on.
You're building a surface level, superficial connection to get a temporary satisfaction. That's just enough so you can say, well, we technically didn't have sex. You're not getting to know the person. If you can't get to know the core of who a person is without giving them access to your body, you need better relationship skills, and they don't need to be in your life. If that's the only way that they know how to get to know you, they need better relationship skills.
Yeah.
And the problem is, when we learn how to develop and foster healthy friendships, purely if you take away all of the sexual rubbing and touching and intercourse, you should be able to get to know a person and develop a close relationship in a friendship. Think about if you've ever had a best friend, or you understand the concept of a best friend. You see somebody on a good day, a bad day, an in-between day. You know their strengths, you know their weaknesses. And if you really know them, you know their biggest values and dreams, and you know some of their deepest fears or concerns or worries, without any of all of that. And people, well, how do you get to know somebody without dating them? Be their friend. Some of y'all are poor spouses because you never knew how to be a good friend.
Come on.
Some of you keep having failed engagements and failed relationships.
I'm sick of them failed engagements.
You suck as a friend, but you think you're going to excel and win the Spouse of the Year award. No, because the core of a marriage in a relationship is not arousal and sex and rubbing and kissing. You've got to be a solid person, period.
That's right.
You've got to be a solid person. And see, we're teaching people, oh, get ready, Prop P31, get ready to be a wife. In rare cases, they're teaching men how to get ready to be husbands, because we've already talked about this. There's just little to no training for men on how to be quality husbands, to know how to love their wives as like Christ loved the church, to cover their wives, to wash them with the water of the word and present them back faultless before them and glorious back to God and themselves. But most people don't even know how to be a friend. If you don't know how to be a friend, you're not qualified to be a spouse or a parent. But see, we don't take all of that in consideration with arousal.
We enter into relationships for selfish reasons.
That part.
Because I'm lonely.
There we go.
I'm horny.
Mm-hmm.
I want to have sex. I'm tired of raising the kids by myself. Which you spread your legs and had them, or you ripped it out and made them. Or I'm tired of paying all the bills.
Mm-hmm.
I've been suffering all this time, and I deserve to have someone to relieve me.
And see, that's the problem, because see, people like that, they enter these marriages or relationships or dating ships, and it never dawns on them that when you are becoming one with somebody, there's a responsibility for you to give of yourself to them.
Yeah.
What about their emotional needs? What about their wounds? What about their hurts? What is it you're going to have to love and cover and pray for them over as they're coming out of those things? And this is why there's so much divorce in the church now, especially among our generation and the generation after us. A lot of these marriages are barely lasting 5 years now, because people get married, the honeymoon phase is over, the euphoria of being in love is over about a year or two in, and people realize, oh, this isn't just about me. I actually have to be a part of your emotional needs. I actually have to be a part of helping you uncover the best part of you. No, that's too much. People fall out of love when it becomes inconvenient. But see, if you learn this endurance during a friendship, you stop ruining people's lives, and you stop starting partial familial structures that you then have to divorce and break off. If you can't be loyal as a friend, don't get married.
Right.
Some of you, let me help you. You don't want to get married. You just want to have sex, and you're selfish, and you don't like to share. Oops.
Oh.
You just want somebody to satisfy your sexual needs, to satisfy your arousal, and then you want them to leave you alone the rest of the day. If that's you, you don't need to get married. You need to focus on healing, getting some deliverance, dealing with your dysfunctional childhood, dealing with the neglect, dealing with the toxicity, dealing with the pain and result of narcissistic parents, dealing with the result of having alcoholic or drug addictive parents, dealing with the result of having depressive parents. And then you need to learn how to develop good, healthy friendships. Then decide whether or not you really are cut out for marriage. See, there's a responsibility. A lot of people get married because they want sex, not because they actually want to be a responsible, mature spouse and to fulfill their destiny with another person. And this is kind of what I was going to earlier about some people are grown and legal, but they're missing that mental and emotional commitment because they didn't think about that. You're not going to think about that when somebody's squeezing your breasts and rubbing your thighs.
Sexual maturity is a result of relational maturity.
Ooh, that's good. That's good.
See, we don't have relational maturity. You don't know how to be good friends. You don't know how to be, you know, none of that kind of stuff. And see, if you have a path of broken relationship, first of all, you have 10-year and 20-year relationships. And all of a sudden, those relationships break off and stuff like that. You don't need a spouse. You don't need a spouse. You can't even keep a valued relationship. You can't even keep that. The Bible says there's a friend that sticks closer than a brother. Friends are closer than brothers and sisters. You understand what I'm saying? There's levels of relationship. Okay, because before spouse, there's friend. There's brothers, their friends, and then there's spouses.
Y'all go from talking to dating or marriage, or y'all go from talking to date. Well, we just friends. You don't have sex with your friends. Let me help you. You don't have sex with your friends.
Come on now. That's right. Yeah.
That's some of y'all. Well, we friends. No, with benefits. A friend is not somebody you are having sex with.
Benefit. Yeah.
No, that is for your spouse. And you wonder why you're sitting here having sex with your friend, asking God to send you a husband. Where does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you're like, God, I need a husband. And God's like, stop sleeping with your friend.
Yeah. Y'all need to go back to the friendship piece. Okay. Mm, some relationships need some mercy and some grace and a do-over and some accountability.
Mm-hmm.
All right, because I mean we can't keep cutting folks off now. I mean, especially we Christians. We can't keep
Mm-hmm.
cutting each other off. That ain't God. All right. But we need to set some kind of structure in place, some kind of accountability, some kind of sense of
And if you
godly
can't be friends
morality.
with somebody of the opposite sex without battling with falling sexually, you have a deeper issue
You
that
do.
you really may
You
need to
do.
seek some counseling for.
You know,
All jokes aside.
I'm glad you brought that up because see, we have the world's definition of what's appropriate
Right.
and what's not appropriate, and over the next several years, this kind of stuff is going to be addressed.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The only reason why you deem certain things as inappropriate is because of the world's corruption of it.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? You should be able to be friends with anybody, same sex or opposite sex. It don't matter, you know, and everything be solid.
Mm-hmm.
If I can't talk to a woman or minister to a woman without wanting to have sex with her,
That's a problem.
that's a problem. That's a deeper issue that I need to deal with. You understand what I'm saying? If you cannot talk to a man without giving him the kitty cat, amen, glory to God, without turning him into the cookie monster,
Jesus Christ.
okay, then you got a problem. See, we need to come to the table again and define this stuff and address this stuff. Get to the root of why things the way that they are, so things can be pure.
And I'm convinced most of us don't even have God's definition of friendship. Because
No.
that's part of repentance, is changing your mindset, renewing your mind. You've got to come into alignment with God's thoughts and minds on things. If you look through the Bible, God's definition of friendship is not somebody you're having sex with. It's not somebody that's squeezing your breasts and rubbing your thighs and kissing your neck. That is not the biblical definition of a friend.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you said, we've come into agreement with the world's view and definition and corruption of things, but we have not gone back to God. Now, we got a lot of the basic stuff out the way, about salvation and not doing this and standing out, being set apart, until it comes to those areas where we still have a bit of a process to unravel in.
Yeah.
And then we fall back to the world standards. That doesn't make sense. You got to allow every God access to every part of your life. And that's just real. You will find yourself to be a happier, healthier, and more whole person when you have solid friendships. Honestly, if you can't be friends with somebody without them wanting sex from you, that's not a friendship. That's torture. There's no peace or safety or security or vulnerability in that. That person is not there to build you up. They're only there because of their need of you. And if they leave your life or don't want to be in your life because you're not willing to give that kind of access, then something's wrong.
They don't value you.
And I find that though it can be both men and women, there's actually a lot of men that perpetuate this issue. I know we've had this conversation before. Yeah. There's a lot of women in the Lord that I talk to, and they've had these men. Okay, well, it's hard for me to find a man to marry. Why? Because every man of God that I'm interested in is immediately pursuing me for sex, either before or after the first dinner date or outing or whatever. Now this person's pursuing me for sex. Now this person's sending me graphic pictures. So a lot of, first of all, that's immature. If you're a grown man and you are still sending the pics, if you're a grown man and you're still sending the pics,
I don't get this. First of all,
you need deliverance. You need to go see your pastor. You need a male mentor to help you grow and mature. Let me help you.
Yeah.
If nobody's ever told you, that's not sexy. Grown women are not impressed by that.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of y'all, when you sin dumb. You sin dumb. Why are you going to leave a digital trail of your peen pics
with the address? Because you know, a lot of those apps and things, they have your location and stuff.
Yeah, they do.
Put in there.
Yeah, you do. And a lot of them.
That won't me. I got hacked. Then they pull up the information, got your whole IP address. It was you.
Yeah, and again, they don't sin smart because there's a way to disable all that, but I ain't gonna tell you. But
yeah, we're not trying to help you.
No, I ain't trying to aid you in your sin.
You just need to stop and grow up and be mature.
But you sin. I've gotten on this. It's bad enough you're doing it, but then you do it so dumb that it looks worse when it comes out. Stop sending your pics. Okay, stop sending peen pics and tit pics, because y'all women send them too. The man be like, send me a picture. Send me a picture. You be like, oh no, you like it.
Stop playing now.
Stop playing no. And then you finally send them a picture. Your lips all perked out, your titties all out. What is that?
Push-up bra with the false advertisement.
you know,
it's just too much. If you can't, that is not how you get to know a person.
No.
And y'all know this, but see, there's something in you where it feels good, it feels nice. And see, then when you end up in a worse situation, well, I don't know, it just happened. We all grown. It don't just happen. There's a lot of steps to it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of steps, from the phone call, from the visit, to getting out the car, to coming in the door. There's a lot before it.
I tell our daughters this, listen, whenever they've been in relationships or whatever, I tell them, don't bring that man in your house. Don't bring that man in your house.
Same for you fellas. Don't bring her in your house. Y'all should be meeting in a public place.
A public place where people can see you.
Yes.
It's called accountability.
Meet at a restaurant, meet at a beach, meet at a park.
Well, these men hated. One guy, he hated. I told one of my daughters that. Well, my dad said, not to let you in my house. He was like, how come he got to know everything?
Because your intentions aren't pure. And if you're mad at somebody because their pastor, their mentor, their spiritual parent told them not to bring you in their house, it just goes to show that you have impure motives. Yeah. You shouldn't be mad about something that's designed to preserve somebody's destiny.
Come on now.
That's the ultimate form of selfishness. Your immediate arousal and need is more important to you than somebody's future in God.
Glory. Yeah.
Shame on you.
Shame on you. Yeah. And so here's the thing. We need to be taught how to handle our urges, how to handle our propensities and proclivities, and we need to get to the root of why people are the way that they are. Because don't get me wrong, I mean, you're gonna get horny, you're gonna get aroused. Men, we get erections, okay? But the over sexualization, okay, of everything is a concern,
right?
Because that's what they're doing in the world openly, while we doing it secretly. But now it's so prevalent in the church, you can't hide it. I can tell that boy homosexual. Okay, I can tell he got something last night. Look how he walking. Okay, he's still trying to adjust his little self while armor bearing for the pastor or directing the choir. I don't know why they love the choir so much. You understand what I'm saying? So we got to talk about this, and this is surface. This is a surface discussion. This is a surface level discussion because we can go deeper.
Yeah, but this is public, so it's got to be surface level.
Yeah, it's surface level, and I can go deeper in public, but we ain't gonna do that right now. Okay, y'all just getting used to us. After like 40-some episodes. Okay, 40-some episodes.
Episode 49.
This 49. This episode 49.
Yeah, we got about 50 more till we get to some gooder stuff. Just keep watching.
Yeah, because we can discuss some stuff that can blow y'all minds. Okay, but for now, we keep it in PG.
Well, technically, this episode is like PG-15.
PG-15, 14. Okay. All right.
You have to put the little explicit thing on the audio so people know this. I mean, it's not bad, but this obviously is not suitable for like young children.
Yeah, your 8-year-old shouldn't be listening to this.
No, he said what?
Yeah, but your 15, your 14, 15, 6-year-old, 15, 16-year-old have heard these.
They've heard worse at
they've
school.
Heard worse in school
on the bus.
I learned everything about sex from my friends in school. Huh? I learned how to have sex from friends in school. Okay.
And most of y'all have too. And I don't know why you think your children haven't. Which brings me to the next point. We need to show people how to walk out of their sexual sin. Yeah. And that means we've got to make a safe space for them to come forward and be honest, be like, look, I messed up. You told me not to bring this person to my house. I brought them to my house, XYZ, LMNOP.
Right.
We have to hear them without judgment. I'm not saying be understanding. I'm saying hear them without judgment. Because if you harbor on something too hard in the wrong way, for some people, it will paralyze them with fear to not want to even come forward about it.
Yeah.
Be stern, be firm, but also be loving. Be in that role of helping somebody get to a place of freedom. So we've got to be able to handle these conversations without judgment, without really, oh my gosh, you did what? The same thing you did when you was that age.
Right.
Sometimes history repeats itself because we don't want to tell our story. I'm not saying don't tell all of your business, but when somebody's sharing whatever they're dealing with, okay, here's what you do to help combat that. It requires you to open up and be just a little bit personal without telling all of your business. But see, we don't have a safe space for these kinds of conversations in the church. We don't. And it's time that we create that space. And honestly, a lot of y'all elders, ministers, the gossip is one of the number one reasons why people don't come forward, because they're afraid to tell you. Then next thing you know, you done told all the ministers. Next thing you know, the whole choir know and all the deacons know. Then the person come to church and everybody side-eyeing them like that. That will put people in a place where they don't want to come forward about whatever they're dealing with. But you've got to make it a safe space and then commit to it. Don't just, oh, what's wrong? Because you want to hear the tea. You should be praying with the person. You should create some kind of system of accountability. Call the person, check on them, make yourself available to, if they do find, you know what, I'm at this person's house. Let me call Elder Watermelon so they can come with, look, can you come get me from this address? They should be able to have that connection with somebody that is there. How are we going to be the solution when we don't want to be a space for people to admit that they done messed up before the mess up? Some of y'all are fostering the same hurt that was done to you that kept you in bondage because you didn't have nowhere to turn. Be the answer and the solution for somebody else and nobody ever was for you. So do you have any closing remarks for this episode?
This is a little loaded.
Yeah,
but this is just scratching the surface of
because
this.
I mean, we can do like 50 episodes just on this alone. But
yeah, because but listen, I will say this: if you've ever been violated, yes. Okay, you need to submit yourself to a skilled deliverance minister. You need to submit yourself to a counselor.
Mm-hmm.
All right, because that charts a lot of times that charts your path in life.
Mm-hmm.
Even if things manifest later.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't go around blaming the people you slept with or none of that kind of stuff. Okay, we need to get to the root,
right,
of why you slept with them in the first place. We need to get to the root, and a lot of times it's dealing with people's childhood issues. Okay, the fact they was raped and molested, neglected, mistreated, earlier on in life. Okay, and these things creates a perversion in our soul, and a traumatic effect.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's right.
There's subconscious program. The brain is something else. There's subconscious programming, man. Where we're trying to work stuff out within ourselves, and we end up acting it out unrighteously,
mm-hmm.
looking to fill a void that only Jesus can fill.
Mm.
So I'll leave you with that.
Definitely. Well, thank you for joining us for the F3 podcast. Again, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Hit the notification bell so you'll be notified for new episodes. Check out the show notes in the description for links for our products and services, how you can support the podcast, and how you can send in a topic. Until next time on the F3 podcast. Goodbye.